One of the worst things a pilot can hear from ATC is possible pilot deviation, followed by prepare to write down this number. That means your day, your week, and your month maybe is going to get real long. But sometimes the roles are reversed. Let's take a look.
Iberian 26, 27 heavy, turn right, 28, turns up, 446, 31 right.
Right 280, look at that, 31 right, Iberian.
Okay, so the main player in this is Iberian 2627. Iberia is a Spanish airline. They fly large airplanes. This is a wide body, a heavy that's come over from Spain. It's about to land at JFK. Very long day. I've flown that route many times back and forth. They get kind of jammed in now to get into that traffic pattern at JFK, and things are going to get kind of interesting towards the end. First part here, everything is normally in routine, but at the end, just before landing, things get really tense.
JetBlue 578 heading 040.
040, JetBlue 578.
Iberian 26, 27 heavy, cleared Alice, 31 right.
Kilo, that's 31 right, Iberian.
Okay, so they've just been cleared for the ILS to 31 right. There is a 31 left at JFK. Typically, JetBlue lands on that one a lot because it's closer for them to get to their terminal. So you'll see parallel traffic coming in here, but very busy. They're trying to get as many airplanes in as they possibly can. Sometimes they get a little jammed up.
JetBlue 578, turn left, heading 360.
Heading 360, JetBlue 578.
Iberian 26, 27 heavy, speed 170.
Speed 170,
Okay, so now the first indication here is he wants him to slow down. He's going faster than 170. And he doesn't say slow down to 170, he just says speed 170. Very typical going into airports like this. JFK, Newark, London, many times a distance out, they'll say slow to 210, slow to 180, slow to 170. When they slow you down as slow as 170, you're usually impeding on some other traffic and they want to stop that accordion effect. That's pretty slow. If you can't do it, really, you should respond with unable. We don't hear that from Iberia. He simply repeats the 170. When he does that, he's closed the loop and said, I'll do it.
JetBlue 578, from 340, descend to maintain 2000, full established, cleared Alice, ground right, speed 180.
Okay, 340 heading down to 2000. We're cleared ILS 31 right approach and speed of 180.
Yes, sir, 180 on the speed.
All right, speed 180, 578.
Okay, so he has got JetBlue 578, and I think JetBlue 578 is in front of Iberia, and he's got him, actually he's on the parallel runway, he's got him going a little bit faster than Iberia. It shouldn't be a conflict at this point, but we'll see how it develops.
Iberian 26, 27 heavy, speed 160.
160, Iberia 26, 27 heavy.
Now, notice he slowed him down another 10 knots. He went from 170 to 160. I'm not even sure Iberia's at 170 just yet. It takes a little while to slow down. He wants him to slow down to 160. Iberia doesn't say unable. They simply say 160, and that's acknowledging that they can do it.
JetBlue 578, speed 170, 1080 turn, 81.
Speed 180 over to tower, JetBlue 578.
170 on the speed.
170, got it. JetBlue 578, hello, ILS 31 right.
JetBlue 578, runway 31 right, settle line number 3.
31 right, clear to land, JetBlue 578.
Okay, so now I want you to see what's happening here. It looked like JetBlue 578 was being lined up for the left runway, but they're not. They're going to sneak them in front of Iberia. And you can see how close the spacing is. Iberia is only about 6 to 7 miles behind the flight in front of them. And now JetBlue, they're going to slip into 31 right. They want him to go 170 knots. They've got Iberia going 160. That's not much of a speed difference, but if Iberia hasn't slowed down, guess what's going to happen here? Take a look. We'll be right back, but first, a word from our sponsor. People are always asking in the comments, Captain Steve, what kind of watch is that? Well, I'll tell you. It's a Hanhart, specifically the Primus Fly Navy Edition, and I love this thing. Mrs. Captain Steve gave it to me 2 years ago, and I haven't taken it off my wrist since. Hanhart is one of the oldest watchmakers in Germany. They've been around doing it since 1882. These aren't just pretty wrist accessories. They're precision-built timekeeping machines. Their chronographs were trusted by fighter pilots, and today they're still made in Gutenbach, right in the heart of the Black Forest. What I love about Hanhart is the balance, engineering, heritage, and durability all in one. These watches are designed to be used in the cockpit, in the field, on the move. They recently sent me another one. All right. The Primus Desert Pilot. And this thing is beautiful. Look at that watch. It's got a bold tan dial, a matte sandblasted case, and these flexible lugs here that make it insanely comfortable, even on long flights. It's designed for adventure. And it looks the part. If you're someone who respects precision and needs a watch that'll hold up for a lifetime, take a look at Hanhart. They've earned a spot on my wrist, and that's not something I say lightly. Learn more about Hanhart in the links in the description below. And thanks to Hanhart for sponsoring today's video. It really helps us to make more content for you.
Iberian 2627 Heavy, Santa Tower, 119.1.
And then one over 3677, thank you.
Tower 578, slow to final.
Slow to final, 578.
JetBlue 578, the tower says slow to final. What does that mean? That means their final approach speed. So let's say their landing speed that day is 140 knots. They're going to slow now from the 170 that they were assigned all the way down to 140 in front of Iberia, who was told to go 160 and acknowledge that. Are they? Yeah. Okay.
Tower, hello, Iberia 2627 Heavy, let's do one right.
Iberia 2627 Heavy, Henry, tower following up lead 20, 3 miles ahead. Reduce airspeed 10 knots, 1330 at 9, runway 31 right, clear to land.
Let's land 31 right, Iberia 2627.
Okay, now, she just told Iberia to slow down by 10 knots. Now, remember, she told him 160? That tells me he's not going 160 yet. They're not going to slow him to 150. But if he is going 160, they want him to go even 10 knots slower than that. Why? Compression.
Iberia 2627 Heavy, begin reducing airspeed. You're gaining on traffic ahead.
Here's an airspeed, Iberia 2627.
Iberia 2627 Heavy, reduce the final approach speed.
On the way to final approach speed, Iberia 267.
Okay, I just...
So now she tells him to slow all the way down to his final approach speed. Next, she's going to tell him, you're with 2.5 miles behind this guy. That's not much. You should be at least 3.5 to 5 miles. 2.5 miles is tight.
Iberia 2627 Heavy, be advised, you're 2.5 miles in trails for that traffic ahead.
Copy.
There was a traffic that was way below and way really fast, and it wasn't supposed to be there.
Okay, so Iberia now, it spills over. Now remember, Iberia they've traveled all night to get over here, right? And in addition to that, they're doing this in a second language. They're trying to listen to English. It's JFK. Things are really tense there and stressful at JFK. She's trying to fit a JetBlue in front. She's told JetBlue to slow down. Iberia probably wasn't able to slow down enough. Maybe they didn't have enough flaps out at that point. They should have said unable. They didn't. So there's some blame over the Iberia side, and there's some blame on the JFK side trying to get too many airplanes in too tight a space. And now it spills over onto the radio, but it gets better.
He is supposed to be there. He was vectored in front of you, and as soon as you checked in, I told you to start reducing your airspeed, and you didn't. So keep reminding you.
We're reducing, and we cannot reduce anymore. That traffic was supposed to be there. It was too fast and too low and too way.
Iberia 2627 Heavy, that was the approach controller who vectored you behind him. So if you would like their phone number, I will give it to you when they land.
Perfect.
Okay, so now the finger pointing begins, and this happens all the time. If you listen to this channel, you're going to see a fair amount of this. The tower controller is not the one that gives the separation coming in. It's the approach controller. So the tower controller, when they get too bunched up, will say, well, approach puts you too close together. Take it up with approach. Well, they can't now. They're talking to tower. So now it spills over with tower saying, hey, look, we're just too close to JetBlue. Why'd you try to fit them in front of us? And then you slowed them down in front of us. Iberia, for their part, should have said unable way back when, but they didn't see this coming, or maybe they should have and didn't. Now he wants to talk to, not the tower controller, but the approach controller. So now when a pilot gets into trouble, you hear this, possible pilot deviation, take down this number when they want you to call them because you messed something up and now you're going to get into trouble. It goes the other way around every once in a while, where a pilot wants to talk to an approach controller or a tower controller. It's better handled offline on the phone, not on the radio. It's spilled over a little bit to the radio, but I think they've kind of brought it in, and he ends up with saying, yeah, perfect. Give me the number when I get on the ground. There they go. JetBlue's about to touch down. Iberia's right on their tail. The good thing is JetBlue can stop pretty fast and get off the runway. And they do.
Iberia 2627 Heavy, exit Victor, right on Bravo.
Exit Victor, right on Bravo, Iberia 2627 Heavy.
Iberia 2627 Heavy, contact ground 1219.
121 Iberia, 2627 Heavy. Alpha Iberia, 2627 Heavy, Union Bravo.
Iberia 2627 Heavy Kennedy, I have a number for approach control if you would like.
Ready to copy.
Okay, and that's it. That usually goes the other way around, but at the end, they are people of their word there at JFK. They go, hey, if you want a number for approach control, ready to copy. And he writes it down. I don't know if he made the phone call or not. I would have just said, hey, let's talk about what happened. We're planning spacing based on the airplane in front of us, and you guys snuck somebody in, and then you slowed them down, and I couldn't slow anymore. So next time I'm looking at 7 miles in front of me, and then you stick somebody at 2.5 miles in front of me, I can't slow down that fast. And so it's part of an education. It's part of training for everybody. There was no mishap here. It was just a little tight. Fortunately, JetBlue did their part and got off the runway quickly so that Iberia didn't have to go around and come back and do it again. But you can see things get a little tense, and every once in a while they spill over, and everybody brought it back in. And again, I have a lot of sympathy for Iberia. These guys are tired. They're doing it in the second language, and they did a nice job of venting their frustration without getting unprofessional. I would love to be a fly on the wall to hear how that conversation went between that Iberia captain and the approach controller from New York. Well, now you know. I'm Captain Steve. Fly safe. Hey, don't go yet. Do me a favor. Like and subscribe to this video, and a super big shout out to our friends at Voss Aviation for creating the video that we reacted to today. Thanks, guys.